ladies and gentlemen, we are back with the Positively Awesome Wrestling. That's right, Drip King and Tidey are back. We've been busy. Y'all just gonna have to deal with it, but we're here. Back to regular scheduled programming on Sunday. But the Royal Rumble was too good, in my opinion. I think Tidey shares that with me to not at least talk about some of the stuff. So I wanted to get it out of the way. So if it's late and you're mad about it, deal with it. That's what I gotta say. Tidey, how you been though, man? How have you been, bro?
I was saying earlier, man, work is real. I mean, most companies have like a crazy first quarter and things get moved around. And man, I haven't even been able to watch some of the stuff I wanted to watch back. I watched some tidbits of Rumble. But man, I'm so glad that things are settling down that I can get back to my regular wrestling activities and lead into Sundays, man. That makes me feel good. My vacation's coming up on Friday, so I'm happy, man. Things feel regular again. Starting now, I feel happy. Ask me yesterday. Don't ask me yesterday.
So you watched the Rumble all the way through, you right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so I'll just start off with this. How would you rate this Rumble based on the other ones you've watched? Where would you place this one?
Well, it's going to be number one.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's just period. I don't care if Nature Boy or Shawn Michaels went all the way. I mean, one, Rhea went all the way. Two, Gunther was a beast all the way. I can go on about just
we're gonna talk about some
the women's alone, But I was also happy with Alexa and Bianca. It was okay, so I didn't feel a reason not to like that. But those three spots carried it so heavily. So that's what happens when Triple H gets some freedom to be creative, right?
Oh yeah, baby. Oh yeah. So I've said I honestly, and a lot of it had to do with I was there. So man, watching it was really helpful for me because I was like, if I'm there, I'm always like, it's the greatest thing ever.
I couldn't imagine.
Then I watch it back and I'm like, okay, it wasn't that great. It was just good. But then when we watched it back, I was like, no, this is so much better than I thought it was. I don't care about the 92 Royal Rumble that everyone always goes nuts about or whatever other Rumble. There's not many that I think people are like, that is the number one, hands down. 92 gets brought up, and I think what's the one where Drew won? Was that 2019, I believe? That was a good one. Right. But no. This one crapped on them. And my reasoning for it is they didn't have to rely on a bunch of crazy surprise entrances, which is what everyone's like, that's what the Royal Rumble's about. No. It's about winning a title shot at WrestleMania now. So to have someone like, I don't know, just Ric Flair show up, it's like, come on.
They only had one. It was the Booker T. He did the spinning Rooney, and he got kicked out.
And it was great because we're going to talk about the Gunther because his stock went to the roofs. Like, it was perfect because he came in, he got the pop. Everyone's excited to see Booker T. And then Gunther, the no-nonsense guy's like, no, we're not having that in my Rumble. And he throws him right out and it's like, perfect. That's the perfect way to use that. He was the only one that I can look at. I'm looking at it. Yeah. He was the only like old timer that showed up and it was like, it was used perfectly. And then it went back. But we're going to go with the Women's Rumble first. First off, Amanda, thank you for joining, babe. Thank you for joining. And we got David in the chat. What up, David?
Yeah.
Thank you for joining, bud. Thank you for joining. So before we start with the women's, I'm just going to run down the list. And I'll do it quick so I'm not taking up too much time. And it's in order, everybody. I took some notes this time. Tidey didn't take the notes. I took the notes this time. I put in the work. I gave him a break this time.
Thank you.
Rhea Ripley, Liv Morgan, Dana Brooke, Emma, Shayna Baszler, Bayley, B-Fab, Roxanne Perez, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Natalia, Candice LeRae, Zoe Stark, Xia Li, Becky Lynch, Tegan Knox, Asuka, Piper Niven, thank you very much. Tamina, Chelsea Green, thank you very much. Zelina Vega, Raquel Rodriguez, Mia Yim, Lacey Evans, Michelle McCool, Indy Hartwell, Sonya Deville, Shotzi, Nikki Cross, and Nia Jax. Got Ding Dong. Hello. Yep, she was on NXT tonight, so that was cool. Just getting paid to listen. There you go. You getting paid to listen to me. It doesn't get any better than that, David. And you get to look at Tidey all night. That's a win situation right there.
I get paid to do certain things. I'm like, shit. When did that happen?
So, I'm gonna ask you. The first thing I'm gonna ask you is, who was the standout to you in the Women's Royal Rumble?
Well, I mean, because Rhea lasted the whole way through. Like I didn't get to watch that part twice. Um, that's my problem. But because now I wanted, I'm not talking about the ending. Forget that. But whatever. Rhea's the one. I wanted somebody else to win, but that didn't happen. There was no that didn't happen. Damage Control did really good. I mean, they stuck out. They did a good job.
Yeah,
Um,
they did.
I like Piper Niven coming out. That was awesome. Nia Jax came out for me. I don't care what anybody says. I always loved her. She's awesome. Um, but yeah, I would just say, Rhea, I have to watch that one back. But I did the one thing off the top of my head just right now was like Damage Control did a good job.
Yeah, they did. I when I watched it back, I liked the Damage Control. They didn't stay in too long when they were playing together because they were just basically throwing people out left and right as they wanted. But it wasn't something that stuck around too long, and that was kind of something I was worried about with them being there so soon. Because you had, let's see, where are they at? I feel like they were all in relatively soon. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Within the first 10 picks or 10 entrances, you had the entire Damage Control in. It was like, oh no, please don't do this. And they weren't in that long. So it was done well. Candice LeRae and who's the other one? Roxanne Perez. They didn't have very long in the Rumbles, but it was the numbers game. And Emma as well. It was the numbers game that caught them. They were fighting off all 3 members of Damage Control, and then they just got caught. I think that they got caught.
That's right.
They left early, but it was done in a way that made them look like kind of like fighting. They were fighting it off. It made them look good, in my opinion. I saw people complain about Roxanne Perez. I'm gonna say Roxanne Perez had one of probably the top 4 pops of the night for the women's Royal Rumble.
Yeah, people knew who she was. Plus, I mean,
yeah, I saw people being like, "No one knows who she is. What are they doing?" It's like, no, they did because they liked her, and I thought she looked good.
She has family down there too. I mean, it's Texas, so
that makes sense. The Piper Niven, that was good. That was really, really good.
Thank God.
Yeah. Thank God. Yes. So I like that was one that if you go back and watch the video where I posted the thing, it was one of the things like, oh yes, I was so excited to see it was Piper Niven again. The ending was brilliant. When it came down to Asuka and Liv and Rhea, because any 3 of those could have won it, and I would have been like, thank you. I really appreciated it.
I was scared, man. It had me on my tippy toes because I was like, no, man, I don't want, because I didn't want Liv to win, right? So I like
what,
Liv.
man?
I like Liv, I do, but I ain't living for that shit at WrestleMania, man. I don't. We no some because
okay,
Rhea's right there. Give me Rhea, damn it, give me Rhea, and they played it as if she could have lost, and I thought that was so well. They had me on the edge of my seat, dude. They did that so well.
To have her and Rhea go. The one thing I don't like about Rhea is that she did start number 1 and went all the way through. I don't want them to just overplay that number 1 position. Because it's cool when it happens. It really builds them up. But I feel like you kind of did it with Gunther. And when we do it again with Rhea, it kind of brings down the significance of going through the whole thing.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I did like that Rhea and Liv were in it the entire time. There was no tricks where they left halfway through and came back. Rhea got speared in the men's rumble, so that adds to just the beast of Rhea Ripley. She dealt with that and still was able to go through everything. Very, very cool. Asuka, that was a nice little reveal and pop. I laughed at Chelsea Green. I'm not ashamed to admit I like Chelsea Green. I think she does great character work, and the Royal Rumble was a perfect example of it. Becky Lynch not staying in too long was great because it allowed the other girls to shine. Thank you, Becky. That's what she does better than any other person on that roster. She allows the other people to shine. Yeah. Let's see. Let's go to these real quick. She says Rhea was the star. Absolutely. And she should have been. I got that one right. I finally got one right in the Royal Rumble. I never do. Sonya Deville, Piper Niven, and Liv were the ones that impressed me. And I'll say this about Sonya. At the house show I went to, impressed. Like, she gets it. She was in there with Charlotte and Liv in a 3-way. And then in the Royal Rumble, she shows up and she's the heel. I don't care if there's any other heel. Like, she takes all the heat because she just gets it. I don't know what it is about her, but she's like a heat magnet. And she did really well. Um, I wish Roxanne would have been a little bit longer because she was going kind of crazy. So Zoe, Indy, Roxanne. That's right. You had Zoe Stark. She looked great. Thank
She
goodness
always
for
looks
that.
great.
Ladies and men's rumble were both very well done. Potential feuds. Exactly. And that's what made this rumble so good to me. They did not rely on tricks and bells and whistles. They said, no, we're going to really take this rumble and start WrestleMania season by creating programs and feuds and stars. And it wasn't just the winners that became stars. Liv came out looking better. There's no better way she could have been eliminated. She looked absolutely awesome in elimination. And Asuka, like, it's Asuka, so we already know she's a beast. There you go, Chelsea Green. Big fans in this household of the Chelsea Green. She's awesome, straight up awesome. But yeah, so I think Liv Morgan came out looking great in this, and Zoe Stark. I'm glad that one got brought up because Zoe definitely looked good in this. Zoe looks like the kind of person they could call up right now, and she fit right in.
Yeah, she's a veteran. Like Dave would say, she's been doing this for years. So I mean, she looks like a pure veteran in NXT. So it's good that she got the airtime and got to stay in there a while.
The Nia Jax thing, I hate that they botched her entrance. They started playing her music before the countdown even began. It was like, what?
They did?
Yeah. Because we were like, the thing came up and I was like, countdown. It was like Nia Jax. I'm like, what? And then they started the countdown. I was like, what? Don't even try to fix it. It's done. I don't know how it came. I didn't pay that much attention to the entrances when I was watching. I don't know if it came across that one TV, but in the arena, it was like, oh, y'all just messed up. But I thought her spot was perfect. I'm no fan of Nia Jax, but she got a big pop. People were excited to see her. She came in, she looked like a beast for a minute, and then she got booted out because Rhea Ripley slammed her. Rhea Ripley got to look good again. So Nia Jax was used perfectly. I loved it. I absolutely loved this Royal Rumble. I can't stress that enough. Royal Rumble is like my favorite event anyway. So when we get one that was this good, it was like, thank you. David said that
so
should
Michelle
be.
McCool was the only one then. Was she the only one? Like the old timer?
It was Michelle and Nia Jax were the ones that were like old timers that came in because I consider Nia Jax an old timer.
No, come on, man.
She's not there anymore. She's not under contract. She's just an old timer. Yeah, and they just have not been doing it. They've been relying way too much in recent years on just what kind of crazy people can we bring in and make people get nostalgic. And it's like, it's fun. It is fun. I'm not gonna lie, but let's build something. Kudos to Triple H. Kudos. And other notes I had, Damage Control was fun. And I think Damage Control needed this because people were kind of going sour on them. They're like, what are you doing? I was one of them, 100%. But they looked good. And it wasn't in a way that was over dominant. It was just dominant enough. Really good. And when Kana did Asuka did the reveal, the ladies that were in the ring, I'm noticing this more and more each and every week. It's not just Asuka that made that moment cool. It was everybody around because those ladies stopped, saw it, and were like, oh shit. There was nobody that was like, who cares, and continue to do that. They all just stopped and took notice. And then commentary does the same thing. They take notice and they really sell it hard. Corey Graves is a master at this. He does not get enough credit. But yeah, that was a great moment. I'll let you go ahead and butt in.
No, I was gonna say with Asuka, it's like their reactions is kind of what the fans' reactions would be.
Yeah.
Them in the ring, which is smart. That helps us connect because we all know and we've all seen Asuka do her best in that ring, and we know, man, she used to be the Empress. She was undefeated coming in since NXT. You know, she had that thing with Charlotte, but then after that, you just didn't see her in a top picture anymore. And it was kind of cheery, funny Asuka. And it's like, you give me the Beast Empress back, and then the women in the ring see the same face that we have at home.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, she can easily win this whole thing because I want to see her do it.
Yeah.
And then she is a threat. And so they played that perfectly if they're all going to react the same way that we would.
And like I was saying with Corey Graves, he loves Corey. Yeah, Corey Graves is. I hate it when I see Corey Graves get hate because is he trying to be funny sometimes? Yeah, this is his job. Is he talking about his girlfriend a lot? Yeah, he's proud of her. He's very proud of her. Let that man hype her up. That's
what a quirky heel commentator would do. You know,
exactly
the character they would play.
What was the last thing? On Monday was another thing where he said when Chelsea Green was facing Asuka and she saw it, she says, oh, Chelsea Green was doing this, but commentary was going like, they're laughing at Chelsea Green. It's like, that's what we're doing. That's how it's supposed to be. And just those little things right there are so great. And again, like I said, Chelsea's debut was fucking awesome. Like, she gets it. She understands, like, hey, characters make these things. And for her to come in, get thrown out right away, we have our Karen gimmick right there. And it's awesome. Awesome. So I can't say any. I could keep talking about the Women's Rumble, but I'll just keep praising the same people because I thought it was really good. And I'm glad I finally got one of the Royal Rumbles right. I never get them right when I predict them. I never do. But so thank you, Rhea Ripley. Thank you very much. Anything else you'd like to add to that one?
I like the women's a bit more just because of I honestly didn't know who could be showing up in the countdown because I did want Mako and some other stuff.
Yeah.
I was like, does Bayley need this now? She's doing steel cages. She's got a program with Becky, but I didn't. And then that was a really good juke to have all three of them there. Like, oh crap, Bayley's gonna win this. All three of them are in there. Like you said, number 10. Like, well, she can win this.
Yeah.
I didn't. The men's, we all knew it would be Cody or somehow Sammy sneaks in. I don't know, but I kind of knew what was going on with the men's. But the women, I had no idea who was gonna be the final one. Even there was like, it's Rhea. I didn't want to believe it. So I thought it was way more unpredictable because I couldn't see like who would they set up. If it is Rhea, she's going to challenge Charlotte, which of course happened. But that's why I enjoyed it more.
I'll save that for another day because that was bullshit.
Come on, man.
Let's talk about it on Sunday. If Liv Morgan would have won, I would have been cool with her challenging Charlotte. I would have been cool with that. But we'll get to that. Yeah, we'll talk about that one on Sunday because that one made me mad. WWE Kana will be better than Funny Dancing Smile. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Mako will be back next week. Nick will be pissed. I don't know if that's something that happened tonight. I don't know. I didn't watch too. I just kind of read up a few things on NXT, but so yeah, I just love the Women's Rumble. And what's great is, guess what? We're about to talk about the Men's Rumble, and I loved it just as much. So I'm gonna go ahead and run down the entrance in the men's, and I just want you to pay attention to the names because I cannot think of in the history of me watching Rumbles a Rumble that was more packed with stars from today, and there was so many of them that I feel like could have won and it would have been okay. I can't think of one in the past that's been this good. But again, in order, I'll run down quick, not spend too much time. Gunther, Sheamus, which was fucking perfect way to start this thing because everyone was expecting Cody and Seth. So to go with Gunther and Sheamus was brilliant. Miz, Kofi Kingston, Johnny Gargano, Xavier Woods, Karrion Kross, Chad Gable, Drew McIntyre, Santos Escobar, Angelo Dawkins, Brock Lesnar, Bobby Lashley, Baron Corbin, Seth Rollins, Otis, Rey Mysterio, who no showed, Dominic Mysterio, who had the greatest entrance of the night, Elias, Finn Balor, Booker T, Damian Priest, Montez Ford, Edge, Austin Theory, Omos, Braun Strowman, Ricochet, Logan Paul, and Cody Rhodes. And the best thing about the Logan Paul one was, for some reason, the fans in that arena were chanting for Cody for number 29. And when Logan Paul came out, they were pissed. Their goal was to make Logan Paul be just hated even more so. They did a great job. Because they were so mad when Logan Paul walked out that tunnel. So same question for here. Who stood out the most for you here? I already know the answer, but I want to hear you say it.
I'm gonna say something a little different. I mean, yeah, everybody knows it's Gunther, but I was really entertained by Sheamus and Drew. I'm sorry, that shit was entertaining because
It
like
was. It was.
they were just beating people down. And I think when Brock got thrown out, they were like pointing and laughing at him. Because there's times where they were just chilling and they just
Yeah.
be in the corner like this and they're
They
just
just
breathing
hanging out together,
slow.
like, look at these dummies. Yeah, it was good.
And then
It was
they
good.
go and wreck some other people. Like I had a lot of fun just looking at them. That's the one that I remember that stood out of my head.
Yeah, Gunther, 100%. But also, again, Dom. I'm not here to talk about how great Dom is as a wrestler because it would be me lying to you. But Dom's character work, it's top notch. It's so top notch. So the thing that sucked about like watching it, like I don't want to say the word sucked. It was unfortunate the way we were watching it is because we don't get to see them come out. There's no screen on them that's showing us them come out. We just have to watch their Titantron thing. And so we just see Dom and we hear a bunch of people going like, oh, and we're like, oh, is he dragging Ray out? Because that's what I thought.
Yeah.
And then when I went to Twitter, I was like, what happened? I got to know what happened to Ray. Why didn't he show up? And I look and I see Dom come out with his mask. I was like, that is so damn good. And then I found out it's because Ray was injured and they had to come up with something. It's so good. That's great. And then to have him get saved by Finn and Damian and then last as long as he did, everyone was out to get him. Like Sheamus was like, get in here so I could beat your ass. And
That's right. He wouldn't let him in.
He's like, no, Sheamus, I'm not going in there. I don't care. I'm not doing it. And then when people went in there, they were like, I'm going for him immediately. They were going to bust his ass. Like, he is that sniveling little bastard that everyone wants to get their hands on, but he's just so slimy and greasy that he keeps getting away. So that when something finally does happen to him, you're like, yes. Kudos to Dom. I think he looked great in this match. Who else? Man, I can't speak enough about. I will talk a lot about Gunther here. The Sheamus and Drew stuff was absolutely good. I liked how they were buddy, and I liked that their buddiness ended up being their downfall. I think that's great. It could play into a triple threat going into Mania, which is what I think is going to happen. So good on that. The Logan Paul Ricochet spot. I know we saw in NXT with Ricochet and Mello, but it was still cool to see it again. It's a cool spot. But notes, here we go. So Gunther. I think Gunther had the most eliminations with him and Cody Rhodes had the same, which is a damn shame because Cody came in and just picked the bones, little bastard. But Brock and Gunther showdown, awesome. Awesome. I loved it. And then when Bobby came down, you expect like everybody to go, oh, here comes business. Gunther said, no, I'm still gonna bust Brock's ass, and he kept fighting Brock, and he did that a lot. When there was entrances that everyone was like, oh, Gunther kept beating people up. Like he had people in the corner just beating him up. Like he sells this gimmick where he's like no nonsense, and maybe it's not even a gimmick. Maybe that's just how he truly feels. He does it to perfection, and he does it the entire time. When Elias came in and he smacked him with the guitar, it just adds to the just beasts of Gunther. Like he went an hour and 11 minutes. He went face to face with all the big boys. He didn't back down from nobody. He took a guitar and still went as long. Like so good. And I'll say this right now: take whatever you got to do. Gunther's winning the Royal Rumble next year. It's happening. Write it in. I don't care who's the champion next year. Gunther's winning the Royal Rumble next year. No doubt in my mind. It's happening.
From NXT UK, he wasn't that would say that's his gimmick, but the way he carried himself with his promotion or promos, it's really him. He feels that way personally. Like the mat is sacred. I'm trying to bring back the honor of this great sport. Because I live this shit and it's dead serious. It's kind of like the no kicks, no flips guys, right?
Yeah.
Like they take that shit dead serious. Like he's not playing the character. The dude's just playing himself. You know? So yeah, that's why it comes off so believable. The dude's been doing this forever. Yeah. Y'all can cheer for somebody. I'm gonna beat somebody up in the corner. He's awesome.
Yeah, so good. Who is that, David? Let me know what's up with that. And then also you had when you came down to Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, and Logan Paul and Gunther, and to have Seth and Cody start to get their moment and start to get going, and then have Logan Paul just sneak in and say nope and throw him over the top. It was like you just robbed these people. Not only did you trick the people in the stands into thinking they were going to get Cody and he didn't, you then robbed them of a Seth and Cody showdown by eliminating Seth Rollins, who again is one of the biggest fan favorites there. So great job with Logan Paul here. They made Logan Paul just hated. And I know he's already hated by a lot of people, but there's people who are like, yo, I fuck with Logan because he's really good in the ring. Like he's shown us that he actually puts forth the effort. So I kind of respect him, but it's like, you're a bastard for doing that to us, man. Why did you do that to us?
That's smart.
Let's see. And then there was a shot at the end where it was down to Cody and Gunther, and he threw Cody over the top and he put him in the sleeper. And they had that shot, and the WrestleMania logo is above their head as he's putting Cody to sleep. We talk a lot about cinema lately, and that's more of it. It's not just the bloodline stuff. We're getting it in other aspects, and that's one of it. That shot was gorgeous. So gorgeous.
It's like Drago and Rocky. How you gonna beat Drago?
The Cody pop, like I was against the idea of Cody coming in at 30, but then as I was there and everything was happening and I was just fully invested in the match, it was like, you know what? No, it makes sense because everyone's waiting for that moment. They know Cody's coming and they're waiting for him to come, and then he shows up and we know like, okay, it's time to celebrate because we know what's about to happen. Great job with it. Yeah. You can say, and I just love that he incorporates it into the gimmick. Like I said, we were talking about the Booker T thing when he's just like, nah, get the hell out the ring. You ain't dancing in here. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
I was pissed as a Booker fan. I was like, it had to be Gunther. I was like, son of a bitch. I wanted to.
At least it was Gunther. At least it was Gunther.
So it made sense. It wasn't just anybody.
But again, like Gunther could have won this, and it would have been like, I accept it. I accept it.
But clearly, like you say, bigger plans with Cody or Sammy with Roman.
Yeah. Oh, and I got a lot to say about that one, but that's for another day. Dom, I can't stress enough about Dom. I find myself like popping for Dom every time I see him now.
Oh, dude, I'm
can't help
love
it.
With that guy.
I can't help it. And again, it has nothing to do with his wrestling. It's just he's entertaining. Like he just, it's like the Chelsea Green thing. He gets it. He gets it, and it works well for him. Putting him with Finn and Damian and Rhea was the best decision they've ever made.
The man finally, you're right. The man finally gets it. Like I think I was saying it like about maybe a month ago. It's like, nah, I'm finding this shit entertaining. Like this gangster shit that he's pulling off. I mean, what a perfect thing to make everybody hate you. Like you wouldn't last a day in the pen.
Yeah,
that shit's hilarious because you didn't go to the pen. You went to jail, dude. And he's carrying that bullshit. Now we all know that he's lying.
Yeah.
He's still pulling that shit. So it pisses all the wrestlers off and it pisses all the fans off.
He's
done so well.
He's told Edge, he goes, maybe you haven't heard. But I've done hard times. It's like, what?
Was that all Raw?
Yeah.
I didn't get to see all of Raw.
It's the opening segment, dude, and it is so damn funny. And then he ends up, I'll spoil it for you because it is so good. So Dawkins came down to help when they tried to attack Edge, and then Dom tried to escape. Montez threw him back in. Beth Phoenix put him up in the Glamazon slam, and she held him there. And then he's just like, mommy. And then she dropped him, and it was like, what the? It was so good, man. So good.
Oh shit! I'm saying it's pure entertainment, dude. There's parts where like people would laugh and be all about Miz because Miz is doing this shit, but it's got my attention that well lately. Props to him.
Yeah.
I'm loving Dom.
It's like he said too many times, you blend the real person in the gimmick and people buy it. So we got Dom playing who he really is, and we buy it. That's what it is. The man's just a hard ass. If Dom can ever learn to like really wrestle, that dude's a world champion, hands down. Like I'm convinced, I'm buying into Dom at this point. Like I was kind of like teetering there back and forth with, but I'm like fully invested now. If the dude can learn to just wrestle just a little bit.
I think when Sai was like, "Oh, Dom Mysterio is the greatest wrestler of all time," he started saying all that shit, and I was like, "Look, man, I'm willing to give anything a chance, but that dude's got like 8 months with me, and he's done it. It's been less than 8." I was like, "Man, how can you not be proud of some?" Was it second generation wrestler, whatever, that has no hope? No one liked him since back then. He needs to get better at wrestling. But man, if anything you could do in wrestling, man, if you can get over in your character, and he had the perfect people to back him up,
all it takes.
Whoever decided to put him with Judgment Day, man, give that man a raise.
Like I always refer to, Rock is regarded by a lot of people as one of the greats. Man, he was not that good of a wrestler. He was just entertaining as shit. He got a little bit better and he could perform, but there was nothing special about his wrestling.
Worst sharpshooter in the business. Worst sharpshooter in the business.
Man. I mean, his finisher was an elbow, which he just bounced off the ropes and just dropped on. Like, it's all about showmanship, and Dom has that right now. And Dave said, I was referring to Gunther, not Dom. No, Dom's real life. That man is real life.
You didn't know, man? He's been in the pen doing real time. You wouldn't last one day with Dom in the ring, man.
Dom, bro. He is a beast. Dom. So Cody won. It was a great moment. Brock also getting eliminated was awesome because it was just that fast. Really? That was cool.
And he acted like, like he's going heel Brock all of a sudden. He was pissed off doing some shit out there. And I was like, oh, that's good. That also got my attention.
Yeah. He's selling, like, he sold it like, I did not want to lose. Like, most of the guys, they just pack their shit up and they walk to the back. Brock's like, this is bullshit. And he started slamming things. He threw the ref into the damn
tantrum.
Baron Corbin. Poor Baron Corbin. That guy, he just got blindsided. It was great. Brock is another one. Like, I've always known he was really good, and I've always liked Brock. But recently, Brock is just doing so many little things that made me go like, dude, he is great. He is like great. He does all the little things perfectly. Man, that Royal Rumble was so amazing. It was amazing. I'm sure a lot of it has to do with the fact I was live and it was like my favorite thing. And I was like, oh, I'm going to remember it forever. It really was one of the top moments of my life. But man, it was really good. I'm glad that the one I went to was this good. Like,
yeah.
I would have went to one and it sucked. And then like, yeah, it was cool, but fuck. You tell me I got to sit here and watch, I don't know, who was it? Was not Andrade, Alberto Del Rio win. That would have been a horrible one to go to. No. But anyway, that's the men's, that's women's Rumble. Gunther, superstar. Next year's Royal Rumble winner for sure. But now it's time for the main event. The greatest story in the history of professional wrestling continues to wow. I'll just break down piece by piece of what I got. You can pitch in on each time, and then we'll just go because I don't want to like go too far. And then so we'll just do the very beginning of this match. I noticed an awesome visual in which you had KO sitting on the turnbuckle, and he's doing the thing that he always does. And then in the opposite corner, behind Roman and Paul, you had Sami Zayn. One was in the light, one was in the darkness. And you have the story is Kevin trying to bring Sami into the light. Like, come on, man, step out of that shadow and come back, man. It's a great visual. Probably overlooked by a few people. And again, maybe I'm seeing things that weren't really there. But it was a great visual to me. And I like saw it as like from my seat, I saw it. So then when I saw it on TV, I was like, okay, I wasn't imagining things. I did see that. It was really cool. Let's get this real quick. Corbin does the best he can with what they came up for him, which unfortunately is never anything. I think the Constable Corbin thing was awesome. That's me though. And then the match starts, and what happens? Sami Uso chants immediately. The bell rings, and before they even lock up, we're getting Sami Uso chants. So for anybody that thinks that Sammy isn't over and it's just, oh, it's just really, shut up. The man is over. The man is over. I can't even believe I'm seeing people try and say that shit. Sammy's over.
Well, I'll tell you why they say that. I ain't gonna say it right now. It takes too long, but I know why they say that shit, and it pisses me off why they say it.
We talked about that on Sunday probably too, because it's been it's been like, I saw one that like really just like made my blood boil. I was like, how fucking dare you?
I'm gonna say it then. You know what? You know the reason why they say this bullshit is because they like these hardcore jocks for the bloodline. Like these are the thugs. These are the dudes not to mess with. And because they have that same mentality themselves, some of them who are just so pro, it needs to be that bloodline, this clique. It's like putting before the 1, 2, 3 kid was okay. You're gonna put him in with, Shawn Michaels and Triple H. It's like you put someone into a faction they feel like isn't that exact character, people are gonna shit on it. And there are some people that will not accept him no matter what, no matter how much he's entertaining. They won't admit it because, like, man, he ain't a real oos. Oos will drop your ass in a second in the streets. And they're dead set on that bullshit. And it pisses me off.
So on Thursday, I'm doing a show with Nick in which we're going to debate Cody versus Sammy and who should dethrone him. Because Nick, he was the first one that told me that Cody was going to dethrone him. So I'm like, this is perfect because I feel like I really am one of the first people who was like, yo, Sammy needs to be the guy. So me and him are going to go back and forth. I'll have a lot to say then. But on Sunday, I'll have some heated shit to say about it because my goodness, I saw one person literally say that Sammy isn't deserving. Like, and it's like, what have you been watching? Anyway, I'll stop there.
Yeah, because I'll stop too. That's gonna piss me off.
The match happens, and it was a great match. You had the one botch, but again, I don't care about botches unless it's a dangerous botch. I don't care. It adds to the realism. But there was a point where Roman, he finally hit KO with the Superman punch, and KO is down, and then Roman's getting ready to do the spear. And over in the side of the ring, him and Paul Heyman, Sammy have now separated a little bit. And you see Sammy kind of very, 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 I don't want to say quietly, but nonchalant. Like you don't really know, unless you're looking at him, you don't really see it. But he pounds the mat and he goes, "Get up." Roman's already up.
That.
He's talking to KO and it's like, oh, okay. I see where we're going tonight. I dig it. I fucking dig it. So obviously Kevin doesn't get speared at that moment. He reverses it and the match goes on. Kevin, we've talked about Jay doing a great job. We've talked about Sammy doing a good job. We've talked about Roman doing a good job in this stuff. Even Paul Heyman doing a good job in stuff. During this match, I know Kevin wasn't exhausted from the match because the dude is an Iron Man. He could do this shit all day. He's Captain America. I could do this all day. He was selling the exhaustion, and the exhaustion from what I'm seeing of it, he was selling the exhaustion of like he's fighting this fight for Sammy, and it's been just brutalizing him. Like he just keeps getting his ass kicked, but he keeps just doing it. He keeps on fighting. That's the thing. Keep on fighting. And he's doing it, and you could just see it, the way his mannerisms, the way he's dragging, the way his facials. He is just exhausted, and he's literally laying everything he has out on the line to just do this. And it's not just to win that title; it's to just shake Sam. Wake up! What are you doing, dummy? And I it's a shame he hasn't got more credit for what he's done because I thought it's been just absolutely brilliant. And it was really on display in this match. And then when he was on the outside, and again, Sammy and Paul have been separated a little bit, and he's crawling over to Sammy. And Sammy's like looking at Roman, and he's looking down at him. He goes, "Just give up, man. Just stop. Just give up." And then Kevin like reaches for him, and it's like, "Oh my God. Oh my God." Like they built this moment up because, again, I'm seeing what's happening. I know what's going to happen in this match at this point. So I can mentally prepare myself. But the ride has been incredible through this match. And then they get to the steel steps. And this is where Amanda lost it.
Yeah, that's it.
He does the first one. And I've seen Kevin do this spot before. I hate it. I hate
that spot.
It's so brutal. And he did it. and I'm like, oh man. And then in the background, you see Sammy do like he's worried for Kevin's health at this point. And it's in the back, and Paul Heyman can't see it. Roman can't see it because he's trying to beat Kevin's ass. And then he does it again. And Sammy is just like he wants to help Kevin so bad at this point. And he can't. And again, my girl Amanda. I love this because I thought this was going to be my reaction, but I was just so excited and pumped that I didn't get to like cry. She did it for me. And I can't, like, I love it. I absolutely love her for it. Like, it's awesome. The people behind me. No, this was later. I'll get to that in a minute, just to really sell this beatdown that happens. But Sammy's face was during the head steps, the head on the steps. It's just so good. Then at the end, Roman finally wins, and Sammy just kind of does that celebration, and it's almost like, damn, we won, but that's not what I wanted. It's almost like at that moment, Sammy realized, I don't want to do this anymore. But he's playing the role. He knows he's kind of he's part of the bloodline. He's in above his head. He's like, we can move on from Kevin Owens after this, and we can go back to doing what we're doing. Again, just those little things. I talk about Brock being really good. Those little things. Sammy was on top form in this match with those little things that if you're not watching him, you have to watch it like multiple times. One for the match, one for the other things, and then one just for Sammy because he's doing so much in this match. So at the end, Bloodline comes down. Jey Uso, he's like, he got the lay and he's about to put it on Sammy. And then Roman says, no. And Jey is legit like, what the fuck you mean no? Jey is mad. At that moment, I knew Jey wasn't going to be cool with what was about to go down. I knew it. I knew it because of just how good Jey did. Again, we talk about how good Jey is. Yep. He's been fantastic. And then we see the thing. They handcuff him, and Sammy's just not with it. They doing the super kick stuff. And this is when the people behind me, like, they went from being all like, kill him. And, so I'm hearing that. My girl is just losing it. She's living through me. I'm living through her vicariously at this point because I'm like, this is my reaction. You're doing it. Thank you. Because this is just crazy what I'm watching here. The guys behind me were like, man, I don't know. This ain't fun no more. This is kind of like bad.
Yeah,
they're exactly. Calling the cops, and I'm not even bullshitting you. I'm not bullshitting. They were that distraught about it, and it's like, yo, Roman's got some real fucking heat right now.
Oh yeah.
When he came out, the entire place was like, we the ones, and now we break into the F you Roman, and then that's when my girl went from crying to be like, yeah, F you Roman. It was awesome.
Never thought I'd hear that, but when I heard that, I was like, man, they're pissed off as I am. But it wasn't like, but I was like you. As I saw it all go on, there was a little joy inside of me because I'm like, finally, Sammy can break free of this shit.
Yeah.
Finally, I'll get the moment. So there was a joy behind it at the same time. While I was kind of tearing up, but I didn't full break down.
Yeah.
It was great.
And then so we see the chair, like Roman's gonna do the chair, and Sammy stops him. Nice little pop for that. They're like, okay, good for you, Sammy. And then Roman's like, you do it, and then Sammy's like, no. And it's this little thing right here. Roman turns his back to him, and then Sammy's like, and he teases it, and then Roman turns around and says, what are you doing? And it's like, okay, maybe we're not going to get Sammy turning tonight. Like, I really thought, I was like, they're not going to pull the trigger tonight. What the? And then he starts slapping him and shoving him and just disrespecting the shit out of him. And then he's hit him, or you go back doing that jackass shit. Then turns around and Sammy cracks him. And I've seen people say they pump cheers in and all bullshit. The roof blew off that place as soon as he cracked Roman. Anybody anybody that tells like tries to push this, they pumped crowd. No, they didn't. You could feel the rumble, the vibrations from the people popping like, yes. Awesome
Yeah.
moment. Awesome moment. And then when I heard on TV, I was like, yeah, that was it. That was it. And the look on Roman's face, like, did he just fucking do that? And then Sammy immediately dropping the chair and looking at Jay, like, I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
I can't do this.
Like, what? And then Jimmy is like, what? And he kicks him and he starts screaming at Jay, I'm your brother. It's like, uh-oh, we got trouble right now. We got real trouble. And then, you know, they end up beating the shit out of Sammy. But then my note here was like, they literally changed the fans from all about Roman Reigns. We are the ones to being like, yo, get this piece of trash out of there. Jay walked out and yeah, it's great. So I'm gonna stop there. You could jump in, and then I got my little theory, and then we could ride on out, and I got stuff for Sunday as well. But
so how they pulled this off to get to the FU chance? Because Sammy, when he started seeing him get thrown into the stairs, I mean, like even me, like you, anybody else, like, you know, what is Roman really willing to do? I mean, we've seen him over the last couple months, his behavior, where he's starting to scream. I mean, if nothing else, as soon as he puts hands on Sammy and treats him like shit again and pushes him in his face violently, like you do to like that's what somebody does like in middle school, you know, punk somebody.
yeah,
You put your hands on his face and shove him. You know, and I was like, it's to the point where you see Kevin when he got kicked 30 times in the face, it was very uncomfortable to watch because you're watching Sammy and you're like, but it's the fact that the Usos were like into it. Like, yeah, man, fuck this guy up. And like, I'm like, all right, y'all willing to do murder on TV. All right, cool.
yeah.
You know, I mean, it just turned it all from this is just bad guy heel shit to like, this is an evil act. This is immoral.
That was
Like,
true evil.
It's gone too far. Sammy's already devastated by the stairs that he just watched. The way they're beating him down like he's not even a human being anymore, all because Roman wants to make an example, and they're like, this is because the bloodline.
Yeah.
And I think Jay saw that. Well, we're willing to treat family like this. We saw Sammy as family, and Jay's like, man, this shit's just beyond wrong at this point. So Jay leaves. I mean, they built it up as something very evil. It got very despicable, and it's all to make Roman happy and be a champion. And like, man, you're despicable. That's why everybody's like, F you, Roman.
Yeah.
They pulled that shit perfectly.
It was
and Sammy's
loud.
willing to take a stand. You know, and you look at poor KO, like you said, he was in the light in the beginning. You know, he's basically hung up there. I mean, you're looking at two dudes that don't deserve this. The Jay walked out. I mean, how do you not make this a clear contrast of, well, this is what's right, and this is not just wrong. This shit looks basically evil.
Yeah.
Like, that is the perfect way and the only time to end it. So when he did that tease, I was like, nah, man, this is time to go full on. And he shoved his face. Like, now it has to be time.
Yeah.
Because that would make me feel so good. So as much as I was tearing up, the tears couldn't come out fully because I was happy. I'm finally seeing it happen. Like, it's time. Sammy's going to be able to get that championship that I feel like he's been deserving. And this is the perfect way to set it all up. I didn't even think Roman would say that bullshit to where, like, you know, I do want you at the Elimination Chamber. I'm going to give you what you want. I'm going to disappoint you in front of your whole family like you did to mine. And I was like, oh my God, it's happening. It's like Triple H is like, Timmy needs to hear this in his brain. He needs Roman to validate it and say it out loud and have a bullshit reason to say, you know, I'm going to give you what you want. God damn it. They did it right.
Those promos that Roman cuts without a microphone when he's just screaming at someone because he's just pissed off at him are so awesome. It's because it's different. It's like, It's like, no, this man is legit pissed and he's legit going to hurt him. Like, he is an evil, 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 evil man. And those promos encapture that so well. So well.
Can I say one more part?
Go ahead.
So when they did the thing, I think that was last SmackDown when he yelled at Jay, basically like, man, what'd he say? Find him now. Tell him to go look for Jimmy. I mean, go look for Jay. Because Jimmy was kind of bucking up a bit. even on SmackDown, he's like, and I told you, and I'll tell you again.
Yeah.
I haven't heard from him. He even stood forward
Yeah.
to do that, because now you're talking about my brother. So it's going deeper than just this is the bloodline. But Roman comes off as such an evil prick the way he did that. And then at the end, what does Roman do? Look, man, I apologize. We got stakes in the we got stakes in the thing.
When
Like,
he
why you trying to
hugs
pull me
them,
back in?
he
Why you
hugs
trying to
them
pull me back?
and then pulls them in, and then he's grinning. Bro,
It's
he's like,
all
I just manipulated the fuck out of these guys.
it's all evil bullshit. Because right when he's saying, well, is he doing it for them? Is he doing it for you? He's gonna join the tag team for championship for you next week, or is he doing it for us?
Yeah.
It's like, it's really about you being selfish, Roman. He's being the evil mother Lex Luthor bastard. Sorry, I had to say that last.
No, you good. It's talk away. So what I think, Jey Uso walked out. Okay. I think what happened there was, if you go back to the beginning of all this stuff, Roman treated Jey the exact same way. And Jey cracked and just fell in line. So Jey watched Sammy go through the same thing and say, I'm not taking this shit anymore. And he stood up to Roman. And I think that's the reason you saw Jey go, yeah, and walk out. I really think that's what it is.
I think it was a realization. You're right.
He came to the realization, like, no, like it was like, I've seen this before. I respect the hell out of Sammy because he just did what I didn't have the strength to do. And now I'm going to go into theory mode. I know it's probably not going to happen. I know it's not. I know it's probably not. I'm unfortunately, I feel like I know exactly how Roman's reign is going to end. And y'all know later. But based on that, what I think would be really cool is that Elimination Chamber. They're really selling like it's going to be Roman and Cody at WrestleMania. But again, Triple H, he's a ballsy guy when it comes to things, and he will swerve us. And the ultimate swerve would be like, yeah, we're doing Roman and Cody. But then at Elimination Chamber, Sammy says, nope, and wins. Because I stand by it to this day. Sammy earned it. Sammy deserved it far more than Cody. And this is not a knock on Cody at all. I'm not even mad at Cody winning. And if the story's right and the end of the Sammy's thing's right, I'm not even mad if it happens. But Sammy deserves it and earned it more than Cody did. 100%. So Jimmy can't go to Elimination Chamber. He's got his DUI. He's not allowed in. So Jey shows up. He finally shows up and he helps Sammy win, which then leads to them splitting. We get Jimmy and Jey at WrestleMania, in which Jey wins. Jey wins because he's the good guy, and WrestleMania is about great, fun, good, feel-good moments.
Oh,
Jey wins. So now that part of the bloodline is like, and Jimmy, he beats Jimmy, and Jimmy kind of comes to the realization, like, man, what are we even doing, man? And they go off their way. And then I don't know how you get to whatever you get to. Maybe Sammy only gets one bit. I don't know how you do it. I don't. But at the end of WrestleMania, whatever Roman's doing, Solo turns on him as well. And then he walks out with Paul Heyman. There's no more bloodline. The Usos go do what the Usos do. Maybe they take a break like Roman does. They've earned it. Solo can now become one of the top heels, and he has the best mouthpiece in the game, helping him go to that next level. Roman gets to disappear for a while, and when he comes back, he could be the ultimate babyface that's out for revenge on Solo. You have a Solo Sikoa versus Sami Zayn, or whoever your champ is, perfect rivalry going into Backlash. And sorry, Cody, sorry. You get your moment later because Sammy has earned it. Anybody that's sitting here, like, if you want Cody to win over Sammy, I ain't mad at you. But if you're trying to tell me that Sammy doesn't earn it or deserve it, you don't have, like, just shut up. You shouldn't be talking about wrestling, in my opinion. That's not a subjective opinion. That's an objective opinion. Anybody that's watched this shit, you cannot say Sammy hasn't earned it or deserved it. You can't. You can say you want Cody to win it more, and I'll listen to you. Can't say he earned it more than Sami. Bullshit.
No, he hasn't.
Bullshit. So that's what I would love to see happen. And I think the blueprint's there. I don't know how you get to a Roman Cody thing from here or what you would even do with the belts at this point. It's a very muddy situation, but I don't get paid to write these things. They do. They can figure it out.
Cody did say because of the Elimination Chamber, it may be that. He did say that at the beginning.
You can't run that at WrestleMania.
He did at least acknowledge the fact that could happen.
Yeah. If anything, people keep talking about night 1 and night 2. Run Roman and Sami back night 1. Have Roman beat him. I don't know. It's a silly thing. And then have Cody. I don't know how you. I don't. I just know in my heart, I truly believe Sami has earned this moment. And there's never you'll never catch lightning in a bottle like this again with him. It'll never happen. So you pull the trigger on him now, or you never do it. And that's why I'm like very, very passionate about it. Like I really, truly believe he's earned it and deserved it. And it would be a fantastic moment. And if anybody's listening to this, you're like, well, what happens next? Go ahead and tune in on Thursday when I'm debating Nick, and I'll tell you. I promise you. I'll make this even make more sense that Sami should be the guy. I promise you.
I'm going to put the gas. I'm going to throw a little gas on your fire because it's true. So I had an argument with somebody. Not an argument. I was more telling my side of the story because
listen to what
the fact that he wouldn't even acknowledge what I was saying kind of baffled me beyond bullshit. So I'm like, look, it was the whole Jackass thing. Like you said, go back to doing Jackass. Sami, for being probably like the top 5 easy greatest wrestlers that I've ever seen, I'm going to say he's probably number 1 at this point because of what he's done. But Vince would never give him a chance. And that's what I was trying to tell him. Well, he did it for KO. So KO's still a big dude. But how long did he have the title? Vince would have never given someone like Sami the chance to ever win a championship. So when Stone Cold asked him, man, you want to go for a World Heavyweight title? And Sami's acting all humble and stuff. But the thing is, now, if Triple H is seeing what the fans are seeing, and he's thinking, man, this is a chance to give the little guy something. And not only has he earned it since Jackass and through this whole year, we've all seen him wrestle. He's so damn good. Kevin Owens said, man, finally the world can see what I've seen my whole life, that you're the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah.
Like, literally, you're the best wrestler in the world. KO just said that. KO won a title. I mean, it's the perfect – I don't see any bigger Cinderella moment in wrestling that I've seen since I don't know when. And Seth Rollins brought me back to wrestling, back with the Authority. I can't think –
the only thing I can compare it to, the Daniel Bryan moment was awesome. 100%. The Kofi one was awesome too. I don't think it was as big. I don't think. I know it wasn't nearly as big. Daniel Bryan's was pretty big. I think the Yes movement was kind of a bigger. He was getting bigger reactions, but he also had the whole little fun. Yes, yes. So if you're in a crowd, it's just fun to do. It's not like you're really into it. Sometimes you're just like, well, we're here to have a good time. But it was a really awesome and great moment. That's the only one I can think of off the top of my head that was like, yeah, that was special.
When was the last time, I'll end it with this. When was the last time that Roman got the boos this bad? Whoa, was it a Royal Rumble that he wasn't supposed to win? Well, guess what? He got the F you Romans.
You do it.
He got the fuck you Romans because they built this story so well. Yeah, Cody had a couple matches last year. You know, and he's injured. Yeah, and he could be the chosen one. Truly, Dusty Rhodes' son. Give it to him, right? But guess who's been burning and earning their ass and doing everything he can do all last year to get up to this moment and hit the tribal chief in the back? He shouldn't have been here, man. You give someone who Vince would never give a chance. I know Triple H is thinking this. So if he doesn't win in the Elimination Chamber, Tidey will truly cry.
I will too. And again, if they do it the right way, I'm not even going to say I'll be mad. If it's done the right way, I'll accept it. I truly will. I know a lot of people, they'd like to be like, oh, you're just sick because you're a Sami fan. Yeah, I do like Sami, but I really love Sami because of what I've seen him do. And I'm all about stories and moments. So if you give me a finale to this story that is suits me, and I'm like, you know what? That actually is good. And I'm very easy to please when it comes to this stuff. So it's not like They have to do the perfect thing. They could give me something and I'd be like, you know what? Sammy's just not that guy. He can go in there with the Pipers and the Scott Halls and the Jake Roberts of the guys who just couldn't get that moment. And that's fine. It really is. But man, it just seems like a crime against humanity to just capture this lightning in a bottle and then say, send it back.
No.
Brian, Kofi, and Hangman would be the latest three. So again, I think Brian's was as significant, if not bigger. I'll say that. It seemed bigger because of the reactions. Kofi's wasn't as big, and Hangman's I don't think was as big either. But those were all like moments that were similar to this. And another thing we have to look at is the payoff. The payoff for each of these things, each and every single week, has been great. That's why I call it the greatest story, because the payoffs. Like each week, we are literally happy with what we're being given. There's never a moment where we're like, this sucks. It's always been great. And Ospreay's on his journey. Yeah, he is. I really hope they pull the trigger on him. He's earned that shit. But yeah. So I have a lot more to say about this. So
Thursday and Sunday.
if you've missed me and Nick's friendly go back and forth, check out on Thursday. I think we're doing it 12. We're doing it in the middle of the day. That we have to. He's in the UK, so we're doing that. You can just watch the replay later on. He will be defending Cody. I will clearly and obviously be defending Sami Zayn. I am going to bury him. I promise you.
You're gonna bury his ass.
I promise you. Nothing personal, Nick. Because again, I'm not against Cody. I'm just really everything all in on Sami. That's all.
This would be great because Nick is very logical.
Yeah,
very
he is
smart. So he's gonna have some really good points.
And again, Nick is the first person that I saw say Cody should be the guy. So he's the perfect counterpoint for me in this. And I really am. I'm very much looking forward to this. And then on Sunday, whatever I don't get out on Thursday, I'll gladly spill out some more. I'll probably be a little bit more, fire in what I'm saying on Sunday, because man, I see some really, really, really stupid things being said about it. And it's, oh, you son of a bull. I'm mad at him. But yeah. So, yeah. So that's that. So make sure you tune in Thursday for that. And then make sure you come back. We'll be back to the normal time on Sunday. So make sure you do that as well. We'll have a lot more to talk about. I'm logical as shit. I don't know what you're talking about. I actually take offense to that one. I am logical. I do speak with my heart a lot, but I am logical. I don't just talk nonsense. Man, that's
I'll back it up. A lot of the things he said this year happened. Was it not Alexa versus Bianca?
That
it wasn't like he was just thinking nonsense. Yeah. Jimmy's very logical.
I'm just a lot more animated. A lot more animated. That's all it is. Nick's cool and calm and collected. I'm like, no, my heart talks and I'm going to spew it out.
And you know why? Because Jimmy always says this thing, and I'll give credit to it. What's the biggest payoff for me? If I look at the ending, I'm like, this is a better payoff. Prove me wrong. That's the best way to look at it, man. As if you're a real fan, like this would make me feel. And didn't I say that shit? I'm going to say it again. I told everybody it's going to be in the ring. It's going to be a hit. And it's going to be sad ass shit to see. And I want to cry about it.
And here, I'll just put this one last point in before I go. If Sami loses at Elimination Chamber, you're going to have some like people who are like, damn, they're going to feel bad for Sami. If Cody loses at WrestleMania, people going to feel bad for him?
Not as bad. Not even as close to as bad.
They won't feel bad for him. They'll be like, oh man, he'll get it next year.
The Dusty Rhodes story.
They know that he'll get it eventually.
You know what? Let me say, like if I adopted like a kitten and I had it, I don't know, for 9 months, and then I adopted this kitten that just ran away, had 3 matches, comes back at the Royal Rumble, and then he loses. I'm not gonna miss the kitten as much.
Exactly. Again, none of this is this shit on Cody. It's just not, because Cody and Roman have a great story, and Monday night proved it. 100%.
Oh yeah. I've
said this multiple times. There is a great story there, and I'd be 100% with it. It's just not the better story. And that's not subjective. That's objective. It's 100% fact, because you are going to have some upset people in tears crying, feeling bad for Sami if he loses. And it's not the same for Cody. They're just going to be like, damn, Roman's still champ. You'll get it sooner or later, Cody. With Sammy, it's like all or nothing. So
Yeah.
with that, I'm going to end it there. Thank you, Tidey. I'll see you again on Sunday, and I will see everybody back again on Thursday. Again, sorry, middle of the day, so maybe you watch the replay. There you go. Boom, boom, perfect right there. Sammy is the guy that forced his way in. Cody's the guy they said, well, he's the guy we want to do it. And everyone always bitches that like they force these people on us. They want the people they want. Sammy's the guy that we wanted until WWE said, no, Cody's going to be the guy. So you let WWE trick y'all. So with that, I'll see y'all Thursday. Oh, I got some ammunition on Thursday. So I'll see y'all then. Bye. Thank you for joining, Tidey. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we will see you later. Later.